What's going on, everybody? This is John Shake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Rudy Road to Glory here on NCAA 14, featuring that college football revamp. And we are at the end of Rudy's junior campaign. We pick ourselves up here in the MAC championship, and we are actually just one game away from possibly going to the college football playoff if that playoff committee doesn't have too much bias against the MAC conference. But we're undefeated. We're ranked number 5 in the country right now. So let's see if we can get one more win, get to 13-0, and possibly cement ourselves into the college football playoff. And we start things out. First play of the game, we are going to get a turnover from our defense. You think we want to go to the college football playoff? I certainly think so, and that ball was certainly out. No dispute about that, and our guys actually do turn that into a touchdown the other way, as we'll not take too much time more to get our first tackle of this ball game. Jordan Brunson will get a 7-yard carry though, but we are on the stat sheet with our first tackle of the MAC championship, as that could have been a big completion downfield. We got lucky with that one. Technically is my zone, but it is what it is, as we have a chance to get our first sack. We almost get to the quarterback. We hit him as he was throwing the ball and just was a tad too late to get that sack. But first and 10 though for the Miami Redhawks. They're trying to find some rhythm, and they do get to the opposite side of our field towards the end of the first quarter. And it's still a pretty tight one. 7-0 is your score. So certainly not a game that I think we're just going to end up running away with it. Miami is going to challenge us, even though they are a team that's not ranked in the top 25, right? So we're going to come out here. We are going to get another turnover on defense, another fumble by this quarterback. We're just reading him and just lining him up if he wants to scramble, which is something that he likes to do pretty often. It seems like a lot of scrambling for this quarterback, as we will give up a completion on the right hand side. Well, Brian Watson gets that reception. I think we might get a credit with the assisted tackle, but definitely a completion that I allowed, unfortunately, as now they tried to throw again over our side. I was going for the ball, and you know, my gamble didn't work. I missed the ball, I missed the athlete, and they get another first down because of me, right? But later on in the drive, I will try to make up for it. We do make this tackle that will at least make it a little bit harder for them to pick up the first down, but Miami is driving down the field pretty well, as Brunson again is going to get a decent carry, but we might have helped drawn a penalty here, as this officiating staff is going to call a clipping on Virgil, who was trying to block me from the back and, you know, did it right in front of the official. My guys, you can't do that. So 2nd and 21, instead we bring him down after a short game. So that means we can be a little bit more aggressive if we want to. 3rd and 15, exactly what we do to get him off the field, and that's what we do, baby. We get him off that field and taking a timeout too. But again, our offense not really doing us any favors. They're really struggling through this particular game, as I almost had a sack, but we get a fumble though. Y'all better, if our offense does not score on this particular fumble, I'm going to be feeling some type of way. Should have had a sack there as well, but you know, I think the forced fumble is a little bit better, and that's exactly what their offense does. We got a touchdown off of that, which, I mean, that's something that they should have done in the first place. But one of the last plays of the first half though, and we had to bring this guy down. Jordan Brunson sets themselves up with a Hail Mary situation, trying to throw this as deep as Humphreys can throw it. This is going to land short of the end zone though, and out of this traffic, we somehow get the interception. So let's see what we can do with this particular interception, right? And we actually do get a pretty decent ways, but you know, we're not going to bring it all the way back, unfortunately, as much as I really wanted to do that. But a good first half for us. We had 6 tackles in the first half, and we're going to complete it with an interception as well, as we will take a 14-0 lead into the locker room, actually. But here we are late in the 3rd quarter, though, and it looks like we are actually pulling away from the Miami Redhawks after all, as we have a 28-7 lead at the right now. let's see if we can finish it off. Just 1 quarter left, essentially, maybe a little bit more than that, as we continue to make big plays, continue to play hard. We're going to be awarded with this TFL here as we line them up in the backfield. As now one of the last plays of the 3rd quarter, Humphries is going to hand it off to Brunson. I have him in the open field, but we miss. Oh, we lift on that pretty badly. Pretty embarrassing, and you know, that's why I don't always it's not always pretty for us over here, man. You know, I'm gonna show the highlights for sure, the big plays that Rudy Rudiger makes, but you know, like it just as every human being is, not everybody is perfect. And you know, I'm gonna show those lowlights as well, including this touchdown that our defense does ultimately end up giving up. So this could make things a little bit more interesting, as our offense does not score with a touchdown of its own. But 5 minutes left to play. I help out with this tackle on Jordan Brunson. Even though I was blocked by an offensive lineman, he didn't really do a great job of blocking me, to be honest. And then we had a chance to get Watson down in the backfield, but I took a little bit too dramatic of an angle. So Miami continues their drive. They're across midfield as Brunson going to try to run things out on the perimeter, and I take him out of bounds with me. Brunson was fighting for those extra yards, and he got a field, but we're not going anywhere by any means. As Brunson again carries the ball upfield, he'll get a 1st down, but you know, we'll chop him down once again. Another tackle for Rudy Rudiger. That's his 8th of the day. But this 4th down is going to be critical as Rudy shoots the gap. And look at this replay, baby. Just brilliant job of shooting the gap. The offensive lineman didn't even have a chance to bring us down or even get out of the stance before we were shooting in that gap. And it looks like we are going to be champions of the MAC Conference. And not only that, we're going to come out, we are going to finish the year undefeated, 13-0. And, you know, in this era of college football where more than just 4 teams go to the college football playoff, this should be more than enough to secure our bid in, because we have all of those automatic qualifiers now to go with it. And you know, I'm just super excited about the opportunity to be a starter on a team that is going to ultimately compete for a national championship. Imagine that, being from a 1-star recruit when we started this series. We are now a starter on a team that's going for a national championship game. And sure enough, shortly after the playoff bracket does come out, we come out as the 5 seed. And we'll take on another team from Conference USA who's also undefeated. Mid-Tennessee State's in there. Been a year of undefeateds, you know, between us and Mid-Tennessee State. Also got Ohio State, Georgia, and Tulane. They're all undefeated as well. So at the end of this bracket, only 1 team is going to remain standing. Something's going to have to give, and I'm excited to compete for that opportunity to go for a national championship. So let's go ahead and get that college football playoff officially underway as we check in quarterfinal matchup that we got against another group of 5 team in Mid-Tennessee State. They were undefeated throughout the season too, but coming from a very decimated Conference USA. Now, a lot of the teams that are in Conference USA today are actually not in college football Revamped. So according to the game, there's only like 4 teams in Conference USA in total. They were absolutely decimated, right? But we'll see what we can do against this Mid-Tennessee State squad. It's certainly a good football team. Might have met our match here as Morris is going to take a shot downfield. Almost got to him early. And it's going to be a very competitive game, it seems like. Late in the 1st quarter, still no score. And we get hit by Stanford down the sideline. He's taking it all the way to the end zone. And the Blue Raiders of Mid-Tennessee State, well, they are going to be striking first. MJ Morris cuts us up. And we just could not react fast enough. As, you know, that little camera angle thing, I'm still trying to get used to that. Not that I could have made a play on that anyways. I was going to get blocked anyways, but giving up a touchdown in the college football playoff doesn't feel good necessarily on the national stage. So let's see if we can still make up for that as we get our first positive play of this game. As we get out of that 1st quarter, it's still a tied game. Could still go in either direction as we'll get a various Sparrow in one of the first plays of the second quarter. He was going to take it the distance if we didn't like shoestring tackle him, but hey, you know, sometimes we just got to do what we got to go ahead and do, and you know, sure enough, we'll get that 7-yard gain stopped. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4 coming up as Morrow's in the shotgun. He's walking around over the middle of the field. I was covering a different receiver, but again, Colton Schaffer, he's just having a nice little game today. 2 catches, 80 yards. Been putting together some good work in this college football playoff. As now, another big shot down the field, and we give him another big reception. Is Rudy Rudinger just absolutely collapsing right in front of our eyes right now? Like, what is actually going on right now? We are just straight up not having a good time right now, as MJ Morris later on in the game, he's going to score against us, something that's not our fault, but MJ Morris takes us to the crib, and we just couldn't get over there fast enough. Morris is a very athletic quarterback, and it certainly showed on that particular run. Made a couple of guys miss on that side of the field, and you know, Rudy's trying his best. We're holding on to that sprint button, but you know, he's just a little bit faster than us, right? One of the fastest quarterbacks in the country. But 24-14 is your score. Our team's in some trouble. We've never faced a deficit like this the entire season, and yet here we are in that 4th quarter. If we don't turn things around quickly, we might be looking like going home here in the college football playoff here in the quarterfinals. So these next 5 minutes and 10 seconds that are on the clock right now are going to mean a lot as we take down MJ Morris in the backfield, fighting through a block. That's just a kid that's just going out there, showing a ton of heart too. You love to see it. As now, 1st and 10 coming up. Rudinger dropping back in the zone coverage. He's going to step up, tries to take his head off, but you know, he dropped the pass, so he might have bailed himself out there though. So get the stop on defense, but if we don't get this 4th down conversion, we are going to lose. And that drop pass right there is going to cement us. So this was a really great game. Definitely shows that we are 2 of the best group of 5 teams in all of college football. But, you know, unfortunately, we're going to fall short. And, you know, I can't help to think that this is my fault. I feel like I definitely let my team down in this game. Gave up a lot of big plays that I normally would not necessarily give up, and you know, it was still a close game even after all of that, but losing by 6 can be a pretty painful way to put an end to your college football season. And you know, even though the stats were fine for us, I mean, like I said, I gave up a lot of big plays too, but we did get a TFL and we did get a few tackles. But if it does make us feel any better, Mid-Tennessee State would go on and play Ohio State. And Ohio State was just on a different level in this playoff. They start off by blowing the doors off of Stanford, who won the automatic bid from the Pac-12. The Pac-12 does not have a conference championship anymore, with USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. If then Ohio State beats Mid-Tennessee State by 30+, we probably would have been blown out too, because Ohio State, they even blow out Georgia. Georgia loses to Ohio State 51-14. So this Ohio State team that we didn't get a chance to witness in person, well, they were just on a different level, and they will be your national champions here in Rudy's junior season at Northern Illinois. But even with that extremely disappointing season though, what does beg the question for us, look at what we do here at the end of this season. We actually get named as a first-team All-American. Great season for us, even though we didn't end it the way that we wanted to. We put together a bunch of stats, man. 73 total tackles, 14 TFLs. We also managed to get a sack, 3 interceptions, a defensive touchdown. We even forced a fumble in there. That was in the Ball State game, which, you know, of course, I forgot to press the record button, and that was our only forced fumble that we got. But great season for us. After the first couple of years in which we barely see the field, we really broke out here in our junior redshirt season, and I'm extremely proud of that. But next episode, we will answer that tough question as we will decide whether to stay at Northern Illinois, the very school that helped develop us into the player that we are today, or do we pursue our biggest dream when we started our college football journey and play at Notre Dame? You guys will find out in the very next episode.